There is a skip of an item. I beg of you for pardon. There is an opening remarks, which is very fundamental. I hope I am pardoned. That will be given by Justice Halimah Ibrahim Abdulmalik, the Honorable Chief Judge of Niger State. May I therefore humbly and respectfully call on the Chief Judge, Honorable Justice Halimah Ibrahim Abdulmalik, for her opening remarks. Thank you.
Brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me beg to stand on the existing protocol. May I most sincerely appreciate the organizers of this workshop for inviting me to be part of this program as the chief host. May I also commend you for carefully choosing the theme, Women in Judicial Leadership, Perspectives from Islamic Jurisprudence. Let me welcome all officials, participants, and speakers to this important workshop holding here in Mina, the Niger State capital. The essence of this gathering is to resensitize, reconscientize, and re-enlighten the participants on the Islamic perspective of women in judicial leadership. There are both classical and modern views of Islamic jurists in favor and against women judgeship. When the legal religious opinion of those in favor of prohibiting appointment of women as judges is scrutinized, we find that they are not strictly based on clear evidence from the Quran and Sunnah, but are based on patriarchal interpretations. The jurists that hold this view rely on their interpretation of the hadith that says, a people that make a woman their ruler will never prosper. Many jurists and scholars have had argued that the above cited hadith addressed a specific situation, that when the news reached the Holy Prophet ﷺ that the Persians had selected the daughter of their deceased emperor as their ruler, he stated thus, a people ruled by a woman will never prosper. Patriarchal Muslim jurists use the hadith to argue that a woman should not become a Khalifa, that is the head of a Muslim state, nor a judge, claiming that the role of a judge is part of that of a Khalifa. Distinguished participants, the appointment of women judges in Muslim countries remains a controversial issue due to the general perception that such appointments might not be in conformity with the Sharia. However, there is no clear nas or authority in textual sources of the Quran and the authentic Sunnah of the Holy Prophet ﷺ that prohibits the appointment of women as judges. There are, however, three juristic interpretations regarding appointment of women as judges. One, the majority Sunni view, Jamhur, among the founding jurists, Mujtahid, of Imam Shafi'i, Maliki, and Ibn Hanbal, was that women were disqualified as judges. This was based on an interpretation of the Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, verse 34, that men are qawwamuna, or the protectors of women. However, there was a minority view amongst the Malikis, led by Ibn Qasim al-Maliki, that women could be appointed as judges. The Shafi'is also allowed the concept of women as judges if their services are needed. Only the Hanbali school was unanimous in its view that women should not be appointed as judges. Abu Hanif, Muhammad Abdullah, and Muhammad Yazid bin Zulkifli in Women in Sharia Court. Why not publish Sharia law reports? Two, the minority Sunni view of Imam Abu Hanifa was the authority of a is not valid unless the judge possesses the qualification necessary for a witness. This opinion allows to be judges except in hudud and iqsas cases. This flows from the Imam Abu Hanifa's interpretation, Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 282, on women's eligibility to witness transactions. 3, the individual views of jurists such as Al-Tabari and Ibn Hazm is that women can be judges in all cases. Distinguished participants, the theme of this discourse is very germane, apt, and contentious, and had remained a subject matter in the domain of Islamic jurisprudence for decades. Hence, the need to streamline and put same to rest. For instance, in July 20, Malaysia, a Muslim country, appointed 2 female Sharia judges, Raya Ramli and Rafida Abdul, then aged 31 and 39. In February 2012, the Pakistani authorities appointed 2 female Islamic judges, Khulud Faqih and Asma Khan Wahid. Sudan also has women judges in Islamic courts, and countries like Egypt, Yemen, Tunisia, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and the Maldives have altered their procedures, making women to be eligible for appointment as judges in Sharia courts. Here in Nigeria, we operate a secular system of government, and the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended is the supreme law of the state. We have a large Muslim population, particularly in the north. And we are adhering to the Maliki school. Hence, women do not get appointed as judges in the Sharia courts. That area remains an exclusive preserve for the men. In the conventional courts, which apply the common law, we have many women judges, some of whom have risen to become the heads of courts or the chief judges of their states. Currently, Adamawa, Bauchi, Gombe, Nasarawa, Niger, and Zamfara states judiciaries are headed by women. Distinguished participants, the importance of the theme of this workshop cannot be overemphasized, bearing in mind the different opinions of both classical and modern ulamas on the appointment of women as judges. I therefore call on the participants to the papers to be presented, so that at the end of the program, we'll have a better understanding of the issue from the perspective of Islamic jurisprudence. Finally, Institute of Nation Trust and the Muslim Lawyers Association for organizing this important workshop. May I also again welcome the participants and wish you fruitful deliberations and Allah's guidance. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakillah khairan, my lord, has been the chief of Niger State in her introductory remarks. Introductory remarks. You will all agree with me that the issue as it relates to the matter being a contentious one is not in dispute. And also the fact that there are divergent view and opinion in this regard is also now a matter that is clear to everybody. And the idea and the wisdom behind this gathering is to be able to get the correct position of Islam as far as Islamic jurisprudence is concerned on this matter, so that we will not all be living here the way we come. Because whether we believe it or not, there are people who before now are dogmatic in their belief or in their idea. In fact, somebody told me here when we had a break briefly that he had never known that even in Islamic law, the matter has actually been a contentious one, that there are arguments for and there are arguments against. All along, the belief is that it is prohibited. So at least, even if that what the person benefits at the end of the day, in my opinion, this seminar has achieved something. And beyond that, I believe we will not only have additional knowledge onto what we had before we come, but it will aid us in determining what future should be as it relates to the the gender-based distinction against women in this regards. Thank you very much. Without further delay, we will want to quickly call on the first presenter because of the time factor, so that she will give us what she has for us. You are welcome, ma'am.